Yeah, I know. Maybe we can just zap me because I just have Larry Beefcake on my mind. Anyway, good to have you with us. Kevin Miller in the morning here on KIDO Talk Radio. Don't forget your chance to win $5,000, up to $5,000. Go to KIDOTalkRadio.com. Listen at 6:05 and 8:05 and 3:05 for the Kevin Miller money code words. You type in those codes. It increases your opportunity to win up to $5,000. A lot going on today. Coming up between now and 8 o'clock, your chance also to power your kids' education. We'll tell you that in a minute. Joining us now is Eddie Turner to talk a little bit about, well, Facebook and technology and everything else. He's an information technology expert, of course, the Leadership Accelerator, Leadership Solutions, and contributes to Forbes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Not bad at all. It's amazing that you have some people advocating that social media should be regulated based on the revelations that we've had. I mean, did anybody really assume privacy, especially when we fill out these deep, dark, advertorials, if you will, to find out, what you would be if you were born in Ireland or something, or what your face looks like, or how old are you really? It's kind of strange. Your thoughts?
Well, it does sound a little funny or a little strange to you and I, but to many individuals, they actually were operating under the assumption that if they were somehow handing over their data to Facebook, that it was private, that it was secured. Many haven't given a second thought to the idea that, this platform that isn't charging me anything somehow is able to support my usage at no cost.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think about the assumption of privacy. Well, I guess Mark Zuckerberg has been, quoted on record as saying that your information would be your information. But I guess that was before they went public. That was before they were making zillions of dollars. And idealism out, capitalism in.
Well, Kevin, I'll tell you, I did something that I normally had not done until this point over the last couple of weeks. And that is, when I signed on to Facebook, like everyone else, I just hit OK. I didn't read the terms and conditions. But after all this has unfolded, I've started reading through the terms and conditions. And it actually still says your data is your data. But in the next paragraph, it tells us what they do with our data. And so we are giving consent for our data to be monetized. And so they essentially became a licensee of our contact information, our demographic, everything about us that we post. Those family photos just aren't our family photos anymore, Kevin.
Indeed. I mean, they take over that. So why do you think everybody is so outraged? Is this just the media ginning something up, Eddie?
I think it's just the attention. The spotlight is now being focused on something that we've taken for granted. I think it boils down to something that we were just taught as young people. Our parents told us there's no such thing as a free lunch. And many of us have just not given thought to it until this has taken place. I've always operated under the assumption that anything I put on Facebook is public, even if it's in a quote-unquote private group. Whatever's on Facebook or any platform for that matter, if it's on the Internet, I should expect it to be public, to be seen by somebody, even whether I've authorized it or not.
And yet, here we have Mark Zuckerberg getting ready to go before Congress. What do you make of this? You cover technology. I mean, is this a big deal, or is it going to be politicians bloviating? I mean, are we going to see, like the actor in The Social Network, give it back to Congress, or how do you think Zuckerberg's going to handle it?
Well, this is going to be clearly something to see. A lot of folks will be really paying attention to this. This is going to be a game changer potentially from the standpoint that when interviewed a couple of weeks ago, he was asked a question. Mark Zuckerberg was asked, should you all be regulated at this point? Because they are a media company that's not a media company under the traditional auspices of the FCC and other organizations. And he said, potentially we should. Maybe it's time. Well, that sent shudders through everyone else because other media companies or, Google Plus, other organizations monetize the data in the same way. And nobody wants to be regulated unnecessarily. Everyone likes to be able to operate in a unfettered sense if they can. And so when Google and other competitors look at what's being, what could potentially come as a result of Mark Zuckerberg's testimony before Congress, it has widespread implications.
Well, what does it mean for the regular folks like us in Idaho?
Well, I think that it is incumbent on all of us to pay attention to what's unfolding and ask ourselves, where are we in the stream of technology and the stream of privacy? As this continues to unfold, we will have to ask ourselves, does it make sense to continue to use Facebook? Does it continue to make sense to use these other platforms? The answer for some people has been a resounding no. The hashtag delete Facebook or never Facebook has many people signing off, unfriending Mark Zuckerberg and his company, if you will. But others realize that that may not be the solution, because eventually, even if 1 million of us log off or 100 million of us log off, there's still 2 billion people on this platform. And let's just say by some chance it did go away, something else would come up in its place. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to continue to just have an awareness. Look at what is taking place and understand what really happens when we use technology. When we sign on to a platform and when we give over our information to one of those fun games on Facebook and it says, just click here, and it hands it over, there's a reason that handover was so smooth. We just gave consent for our data to be transported over. So becoming a conscientious consumer is what I would advocate.
Now, when you're coaching executives, can you give us an insight into that? I mean, these are type A people. Eddie, I don't do much. I work, I go to church, and I watch television. So I watch Billions. I know Eddie Axelrod and all those guys. So Bobby Axelrod and how you coach these folks. I mean, they're A personalities. What advice would you give Mark Zuckerberg?
I would tell Mark, as this executive coach, that there are a couple of leadership lessons to take away from what's taking place right now. I'd say that people are looking to you, Mark, for 3 different things. Number 1, they're looking to you for protection. Number 2, direction. Number 3, order. When we talk about the protection that they're looking for, people are asking him to protect their data and protect their privacy. And they don't think that that's a lot to ask for. When we talk about direction, they want clear direction about what they should be doing on his platform right now and, where the future is headed in terms of usage, in terms of opportunity for security. And then finally, I'd say order. There's a lot of chaos unfolding right now around this, and they want him to bring calm to the chaos. So those are the 3 things that I will be working with Mark as a leader right now if I were his executive coach.
Not to ask you, recently you were quoted in Forbes about lies, and here's a quote: "I've always operated under the premise that a lie is a lie." Don't we all lie? I mean, telling the truth is tough things to do. We're supposed to do that based on the Gospels and church and everything else, but haven't we become in a world where a white lie is harmless, or is it?
Well, in that article, when I made that statement, I think I was reflective on my upbringing and things that my mom taught me, my mom and dad. But I was also reflective on a couple of things that took place in the home. And there was always in the dining room that one particular vase that sat, and Mom would say, "Hey, don't throw the baseball or don't throw the football in the house, because if you hit that vase and it shatters, you're in trouble, buddy." And I think about what Mom was saying. Yeah, if that great vase broke, it shattered, I potentially could glue it back together, but it would never, ever be the same. And that's what happens when we tell what we consider white lies or small untruths. It just doesn't give credibility to anything else we say after that when people discover that we have used an untruth. Yeah, we can mend our relationship, mend our reputation, but in some people's eyes, it's never quite the same. And so I really believe in the honesty is the best policy adage.
Eddie, what else would you like to share with us today here at KIDO Talk Radio?
I'm just really thrilled to be able to be here with you and your audience. And what a privilege. And I appreciate the time you've given me to speak with your audience. And I think that, as we talked about, being conscientious consumers, being aware that nothing's really private on the Internet, and being circumspect as we move forward with our steps and our Internet usage.
Well, like you said, when you assume, there you have it.
Indeed.
Eddie, take care.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Have a great day now.
Thank you, sir. Eddie joining us, Eddie Turner, talking about Facebook and everything else. And really, there is no assumption of privacy here at 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Hey, do want to remind you, great contest going on. Power Your Education. You could win a 50-hour custom learning package from Grade Power Learning in Meridian. Details at KIDOTalkRadio.com. You're talking ACT, SAT prep. You're also talking about anything your child needs. Maybe it's study skills, assignment support, time management. Grade Power in Meridian, 608-5061. We appreciate them sponsoring Promote Our Schools, Secure Our Future. A few things we're talking about. Number one, the decision by the governor of Oregon to say she's not sending her troops to the border to help secure the border. She doesn't believe in what the president's doing. Then you have this situation involving the race for governor. We talked a little bit about that concerning Congressman Labrador telling Dr. Ahlquist to take down his ads, that they're lies. Dr. Ahlquist says that's a third party, has nothing to do with me. Then you've got the lieutenant governor. This is what we love. Then you have the lieutenant governor using the current governor to endorse him. Of course, he has endorsed him as well. How effective do you believe Governor Otter's endorsement of Lieutenant Governor Brad Little is? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. One could argue that this entire gubernatorial primary is whether or not you agree with how the state has been run the past few years. If you like that, you vote for one candidate. If you don't, you vote for the other two. And I think the big winner yesterday in the news conference is you have Congressman Labrador going after Dr. Ahlquist, responding to him. The lieutenant governor continues to work the backcountry, if you will, with the farmers, the ranchers, the backbone of the state. He's out of the mix. Of course, he has launched his own counter ads against Dr. Ahlquist as well. I love when people say, hey, I can't wait for this to be over. Why? Why would you want it to be over? This is the good stuff. We're not going to see another political race like this for many, many years. And we invite all the candidates to come on. I've actually had to twist some arms to get these folks on. And you think, well, Kevin, they don't want to bother you. Dude, I want to be bothered. This is go time for all of us. It's funny when people say, well, I don't want to be bothered. Are you kidding? And when we're talking about the primary voters, when we're talking about people that love politics more than most folks in this town, in this area, love college football, it's you, the Miller Militia, right here with me. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So I'm kind of leaning towards the governor's race. Also, I would love to talk to you more about the president.
We're looking from 2,000 to 4,000, and we'll probably keep them, or a large portion of them, until such time as we get the wall.
There you have it, the president from an earlier appearance today on Fox and Friends. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be a part of your day.
Kate Brown, not related to Jerry Brown, she's the governor of the great state of Oregon. She says that if the president were to ask if she would deploy her National Guard troops on the southern border, she would simply say no, she is not for the militarization of the border at all, which is curious because clearly if you're a nation, you need a border that works.
Well,
who asked her, by the way?
It's Oregon.
Yeah.
She's not even on the border.
Right. She's not on the border. But I'm just wondering, too, legally, if you could put other states' National Guardsmen in California. Because as much as the wall has worked in San Diego, just ask anybody down there, it's not complete. And they're going to need some guardsmen in California, conceivably. And if California says, even though they said yes to President Obama and said yes to President Bush, if they say no to President Trump, what are we going to do then?
Are they allowed to do that? If the federal government says
We
we're
have to-
putting them down there,
Well,
the governor's allowed to say no?
Well, you remember Secretary Nielsen told us yesterday she's in conversations
Right.
with Jerry Brown.
Well, you could federalize the troops. Fox and Friends on your home for Fox News on the radio. KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Barb in Sunny Slope. Good morning, Barb.
Good morning, Kevin. I hope you're doing well this day.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has. I've been listening. I just haven't called in, you know. You made a comment just a few minutes ago that if you like Butch Otter, you'd probably vote for Little, and if you'd don't, you'd probably vote for the other two. I contend that if you like Butch Otter, you also might vote for Alquist. Because of many of the things. First off, let me say that Romney is a supporter of Alquist. He has endorsed him, and Alquist has accepted this endorsement. So if we're going to go on voter records, Romney supported Otter. He is pro-abortion, pro-Common Core, pro-Antifa, pro-globalism, pro-gun control, pro-socialized medicine, pro-amnesty, pro-gay marriage, pro-Supreme Court rulings to make federal laws for all states. And, you know, so I sit there and say, this is somebody that Alquist is seeking out and is having support him for governor. You know, if Alquist is going to complain about somebody else's voting record, he'd better start looking at who he has supporting him. When you look at Alquist himself, some of the papers describe him as being supportive of Beter in his refugee decisions, which of course goes with the Romney and pro-amnesty. He supported T.J. Thompson, who cited Obama as having such an important, profound impact on his life. He donated to Mitt Romney's climate change program.
Now, where are you getting all this information from, Barb?
Let's see. The first one, which piece of it?
I don't know. I'm kind of lost here.
I'm sorry. The Redoubt News had quite an article on Alquist, which talked of him being pro-amnesty with Marco Rubio, and he was not a supporter of Trump over Hillary. Now, I was not a big Trump lover myself, but when it came to Hillary or Trump, let me tell you, I went Trump. A lot of it came from, I guess he was Romney himself, I don't know which piece of the information you're looking for, was asked to come on a talk radio show in Utah. And the radio host was listing some of these things beforehand, and right beforehand when this started coming out, he backed out of being on the radio and being interviewed because of his views which I guess he doesn't want out down there. But Redoubt News had this other article on him that on Alquist, talking about he supported David Beter on the open borders. He has not supported pro-life or Second Amendment, according to Redoubt News.
Well, again, let's continue to not give commercials for Redoubt News. I think after you mentioned it once, look, those folks do a fine job. They're entitled to their stuff. They're very thorough. They have to be. But again, back to this, your point being, I think you made your point.
Okay. I am pleased I made my point.
You made your point and then some, I think. But back to this issue, though, where you have the congressman going after the doctor, actually the attorney going after the doctor, the lieutenant governor being endorsed by the governor. I got to believe that if you're a Butch Otter guy, you're voting for Brad Little. You're not voting for Dr. Alquist.
That is probably true, but I still say there's some degree of connection there. I mean, I can't say that I'm a great Labrador lover either, let me tell you. But Labrador did something recently which really upset me. He put in for he was actually co-sponsor of a bill that talked of biometric identification, which I thought, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But you know, I'm with, I can't remember who it was earlier, one of your main team militia members there, saying that I think Alquist is not quite what he seems. You know, he's a developer, which right off says to me, I'm concerned about him going in for Agenda 21. And he says when approached and asked if he knows anything about sustainable development, which is really the word for that, he just kind of says, "What? I don't know anything about it." I cannot believe a developer, and my husband was there personally and asking him this question. That's not a news thing. I cannot believe that a developer knows nothing about Agenda 21.
Well, I got to tell you, I think you've told us who you're not voting for.
Yeah, that's who I'm not voting for. I'm just trying to deal with this myself.
I can tell. Our best to you and read out news.
Yeah, well, I really wish we could take some of the ghosts going for lieutenant governor, move them up to governor, and then reshuffle this. However, because I've seen several that I like for lieutenant governor.
Well, Barb, we appreciate that, and it's time to go. When I usually jump in, that's your cue. I've got to go.
That's true, that is. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Barb. All right, traffic and weather. All right, the kidding continues. Thank you, Jim, in for Larry. Kevin Miller here today, hopefully tomorrow. Good morning, Maggie.
Good.
Out to Washington, our friend John Decker joining us from the White House, Fox News Radio, on KIDO Talk Radio. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing today, Kevin?
Not bad. The president in coal country, one of those swing states, West Virginia. Anything news? Well, this is the dumbest question you'll get all day. Anything newsworthy come from President Trump?
Well, absolutely. Not only in terms of his visit to West Virginia, to White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, but also on the way back from West Virginia to Washington on Air Force One. The president came back to the press area on Air Force One and took a few questions and made a lot of news there. He talked about how he did not know about this $130,000 payment that was made to Stormy Daniels just a week and a half before the presidential election in 2016. Said that, you'd have to ask questions concerning that to his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. And in addition to that, Kevin, the president also indicating support for his embattled EPA administrator, Scott Pruitt, who's come under fire for renting that space in the condo of a Washington lobbyist for $50 a night. So that's something that we'll continue to watch very closely, because as we've seen, the president sometimes can voice support for a cabinet member like Rex Tillerson, only to see that cabinet member fired just days or weeks later.
Right. It's not looking good for Scott Pruitt.
Well, it's not, certainly, despite what the president said yesterday, you have 3 House Republicans calling for the president to oust him or calling for Scott Pruitt to step down. So that's not a good thing when you have members of your own party saying that. And look, this is a very difficult thing. I don't know if you happen to see the interview that my colleague Ed Henry did on Fox News Channel, but, it wasn't a flattering interview in terms of the way that Scott Pruitt came out looking in the course of the interview, very defensive, et cetera. So, look, this is something we'll continue to watch very closely.
Indeed, when we take a look at this, our great friend John Decker joining us here from the White House at 580 KIDO, 107.5 FM. So, John, we continue on when we're looking at what's next for the president. Obviously, the border situation, you've got the governor of Oregon saying she's not going to send troops. The border continues to be an issue that won't go away.
It's not an issue that is going away, and it's an issue that the president continues to follow very closely. It's something that has bothered him, that despite the fact he's been president for 14, 15 months, he has yet to see the construction of any type of new border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. I think that's the reason that he's spoken quite a bit about this over the course of the past few weeks.
John Decker, anything else we should be looking out for, sir?
Well, we'll keep our eye on the future of Scott Pruitt. And in addition to that, I don't know about you, but I'll be watching the Masters this weekend on television. A great first day, great first round. And that's always such an exciting tournament to watch on television.
John, we appreciate it. And who are you going with?
Well, let's see. I don't know. Where's Justin Rose right now in the mix? He must be among the top contenders. I always think he always does such a great job. So look, we'll see we'll see how Tiger fares. I think he's in ninth place overall, and he's feeling confident. He's looking good, so I wouldn't count him out either.
And there's that remarkable first day by Jordan Spieth.
And Jordan Spieth, who I think he's 2 strokes in the lead. Can he keep it up? It seems like he really does particularly well at the course at Augusta. So if he can keep it up, he's going to put on another green jacket.
You heard it here first from John Decker. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, our great friend John Decker. Let's go to Caldwell. I was just there yesterday at the old Indian Creek Steakhouse, hanging out there for lunch, and I thought of you, Cindy. Good morning.
Oh, Kevin, that is one of my favorite places. Good for you, Yahoo. Next time you go there, let me know. So appreciate you, Kevin. And, you know what, I just wanted to say that, you know, I'm going to say, trying to say this, I know a saying, a soft answer turns away wrath. But, you know, I've seen Raul Labrador a couple of times this week, just all excited because he's going to be a grandpa, a baby. I saw Matt yesterday, not yet, but pretty soon. And, you know, it's just sad to me that Lars Larson made, your friend, your good friend last night, listened to him, and he was talking about generally the media. And I'm just going to put it this way. If Tommy is, you know, he's running a campaign. My dad was a Merchant Marine sea captain. If you are the head of something and you are pushing out or allowing, I would say stop it. This negativity, I can assure you that the people that I talked to, very nice undecided voters, I talked about 7, 8 of them yesterday. I can assure you, just from small samplings, they're really kind of sad. So if they think this is a way to win by giving partial truths, half truths, I mean, you know, Raul Labrador did not go over there yesterday. It's just pretty sad when you're sitting with your wife and family with much personal stuff going on, and you are attacking someone, you know, or starting these identity politics, more like a Bernie Sanders in class warfare. I mean, I tell people facts. No, Raul Labrador didn't have a luxury car. He actually gave $800,000 back to the taxpayers. He actually had a little old lease 2015 Ford Explorer to get about for many reasons because he thought that would be a good way to save money. No, it is true. He did miss a few votes. And Kevin, I know you go to the East Coast and miss a few programs if your mom or dad. I saw how much you loved her at your birthday party. Yeah, but he has a 96% attendance record overall. But his son was sick and had emergency surgery and complications. So there's a lot of facts out there, and I can just tell you that from sampling people, you know, I was really angry the other night, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, a soft answer turns away wrath. When I turn around at a volunteer meeting, I'm bringing cookies. I'm not giving one to this guy who's from the Tommy Alquist campaign with a little phone out standing up behind me. And wow, when I turned around, I just tried to say it, seriously, sir, what is your problem as the interrupt Raul? So I'm just saying, you know, people, I would hope, could respond to this election by trying to get the facts. I try to give people facts out, you know, for Raul Labrador, but he's only trying to state his position factually, and that is it. He's very busy with some other things going on, so I'm hoping he does come on your show.
Well, look, they're all open to it, and like I said, look, we've come a long way. Everybody's very busy. I think this is the best way to reach the primary voting audience, and I'm sure we'll have him on. We're talking to everybody, and we want everybody on, and we want people such as you and me and others to ask these tough questions and hear what they have to say, because this election is the biggest that we'll see in maybe the next 20 or 30 years here in Idaho.
Well, that's really something, because I'm 72, Kevin. My goodness. I'm not getting involved in any more elections after this one. I can assure you that. There are many other things I'm going to go be about my father's business, but as I told you from the beginning, I totally respect. We're all talking about this border now. That doesn't surprise me, and, you know, about the governor of Oregon. But one of the reasons I have grandchildren that I respected our president and Raul for is because they're trying to shore up these borders and prevent illegal immigration. My grandchildren live on a border, and they call them mules, coming over all the time. The poor Border Patrol out there in Maple Falls, Washington, what they go through trying to, literally just go catch people coming over from, that border from Canada. So I respect people as a woman, and I don't mind saying that. I think God designed men to be providers, protectors, and that's why I can look at Raul and Matt and the whole family there and just say, Yahoo, good for you. And isn't that something? I'm not even morbid. So I'm just hoping for the best here, Kevin. I'm hoping that you stay strong, and I just so appreciate your show and Lars Larson. So
I appreciate you. I heard Lars on last night with Dennis Miller, and we had Dennis on before. But I got to tell you, we gotta meet for lunch there in your town of Caldwell on me. All right, at Indian Creek sometime.
Oh, all right. That is my best place to go. And there's another hardworking guy, years and years, 24/7. He's a farrier too. Years and years, just trying to stay stick and step to that Dust Bowl out there with that urban renewal, project, and nicest waitresses. They're just my good buddies.
I'm with you. I got to run, good buddy.
Okay, good buddy. Have a great day.
Thank you, Cindy.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, remember, we're back promoting our schools, securing our future. We're going to be at Meridian Technical Charter School coming up this Thursday, thanks to CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. And our new sponsor for Promote Our Schools, Grade Power Learning in Meridian. And we've got a good contest going on. Actually, I'm excited because they're going to teach me how to write. No, you don't have to say, are they going to teach you how to speak? Hopefully, at the age of 50, I'm just going to take some classes from them. And it's not about me. We have this opportunity. It's called Power Your Education, where you can enter to win a 50-hour custom learning package. Now, that could be a prep for your kids' ACT, SAT. It could be improving your child's study skills, test assignments, support, time management. Lots going on at Grade Power Learning in Meridian. All you have to do is write a 100-word essay on why education is important to you, and you could win this package. More details at KIDOTalkRadio.com. Coming up next, let's take a look at what's going on in the swamp, not only in Washington, but here in the Treasure Valley. I can't wait to hear from you next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be a part of your day. Don't forget, 605-805, listen to Kevin Miller in the morning, and your chance to win $5,000 when you hear the Miller Money code words coming up. Another code word, right? Your chance to win. And remember, also at 3:05 with the great American Sean Hannity, having dinner with the president last week. Trying to think. Can't top that one. Let's hear what. Let's hear what. Let's hear what you have to say here. I think you were. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You're on the air. Go ahead, please, Lori.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Look, we're all multitasking. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay. So I'm calling about the governor's race. It's I'm Tommy Alquist supporter, and to me, I've said this before. He's maybe has donated to other Democrats. Maybe I wouldn't have donated to, but Donald Trump did it too. And I feel like the most important thing we can have is he does support our liberties, and financial liberty, economic liberty is the most important thing we can have, because if the government takes our property and distributes it to other people, that is theft. And that's what's been happening in our government is big interest, and he's out of the system. He's a businessman. He knows how to make jobs or how to create economic benefit to this community. And I've talked to him, and I've heard him speak a number of times, and he definitely is a supporter of the Bill of Rights, of all of our liberties. But he has such a handle on, from his many visits, the teachers and all of our farmers and everyone across the state.
Well, what do you say to people that have been, taking whacks at him this morning?
That's why I called. It's they're complaining because he's pushing back. And I heard somebody asking, well, why are you pushing back to this negative ads? And he says, I have to do this. I'm being misrepresented, and I have to clear the record. And my opponents have weaknesses, and they won't do as well for this state as I will. And he has the leadership, and he will create jobs. He will create more liberty. Liberty is your you put your life into your work, your life, and that's what it means to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I just think just overlooks maybe who he may have voted for in the past and that kind of thing, because his record and his belief in what he's saying about liberty and supporting the Constitution and life it's true. And so just discount that and look at the source. I'm a source for him anyway, so I admit it. It's
all
fine.
right. Well, Lori, thank you, and can't hear what everybody else has to say. Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. KIDO Talk Radio, talking more about the governor's race, traffic, and weather together. Let's get you to work. Let's go to Jim in Boise with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Jim.
Morning, Kevin. Now the other view.
My man, Jim.
Yes, tremendously. I would never vote for someone who uses negative publicity, especially somebody that only uses negative campaigning. I mean, I would never do that.
Okay, so who's your person then?
Well, I prefer Labrador. But I mean, the other two were putting out positive themselves. Well, Labrador hadn't really advertised much. Little has been putting out his own commercial, but Oquist is only negative. And I would never vote for somebody that's like that.
Well, let me hit you with this one. And again, open-mindedness on this program is something that's challenging, according to you. I remember the quote. I'm still smarting from the smack he gave me.
I just called Ray and gave him a compliment that he actually put it on. So,
well, that's what we want to do. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's to entertain people, not to promote an agenda. You know,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's just what an overly sensitive wimp that I am that I could take that. You know, you got to be able to take it if you're going to dish it out. So
you do well.
I've had a lot of taking it lately. Anyway, so you take a look at Tommy Ahlquist. He says, "Look, this is a third party; it has nothing to do with me." Do you buy that?
Well, at the end of those negative deals, it does say something about Tommy, and you know, it does mention that. Now, I don't know. I presume it seemed like it does. You know, it indicated it was from him. Now, if it's not him, then it should be stopped. Maybe couldn't he stop it if he wanted to?
Well, that's the argument the congressman said yesterday.
So, I don't know.
Hey, I'm not cutting you off. You know what this means. Time for Fox News, brother.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. More coming up. Fox News on your home for Fox News on the radio, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.